Listen, on the night of 3rd May 2007, a 3-year-old girl went to sleep in a holiday apartment on the southern coast of Portugal and was never seen again. Her name was Madeleine McCann. Her disappearance triggered one of the most expensive, most scrutinized missing person investigations in modern history. 17 years later, we still don't have a definitive answer. Tonight, we walk through everything we know and everything investigators still can't explain. Praia da Luz is a small coastal resort town in the Algarve region of southern Portugal. In the summer months, it fills with European tourists. By early May 2007, the McCann family, Kate, Jerry, and their 3 children, were wrapping up a week-long holiday there, part of a larger group of 9 adults and their children, all staying at the Ocean Club Resort Complex. The evening of 3rd May started like several before it. The adults agreed to take turns checking on their sleeping children while they dined at a tapas restaurant that sat roughly 50 meters from the apartment block. Madeleine, who had just turned 3 years old 4 days earlier, was asleep in apartment 5A with her younger twin siblings. At around 10 p.m., Kate McCann went to check on the children. She found Madeleine gone. The bedroom window was open. The child was not in the apartment, not in the complex, and not anywhere nearby. Portuguese police were called immediately. A search began that night, sweeping the streets, the beach, the surrounding hillsides. Nothing. By morning, Madeleine McCann's face was on every news broadcast in Europe. Portuguese police launched what they called one of the country's most resource-intensive missing person investigations. Within days, British authorities were also involved. Interpol issued a global alert. The McCanns, still in Praia da Luz, appealed publicly for information and set up a dedicated fund to support the search. The investigation, however, quickly became complicated and controversial. In September 2007, Portuguese police named Kate and Jerry McCann as arguidos, formal suspects under Portuguese law. Investigators theorized, based on cadaver dog alerts inside the apartment and in a rental car the family had used weeks after the disappearance, that Madeleine had died inside apartment 5A and that her body had been moved. Kate and Jerry McCann denied any involvement emphatically and consistently. No charges were ever filed. In July 2008, the Portuguese Attorney General's office shelved the investigation and cleared the McCanns of suspicion. The arguido status had cost the family a year of devastating public scrutiny. The Portuguese case file, a document running to thousands of pages, was released publicly after the case was shelved. Investigators, journalists, and amateur researchers have been dissecting it ever since. In May 2011, the British Metropolitan Police opened their own review of the case under the codename Operation Grange. According to the Operation Grange Wikipedia entry, it began as a review but was upgraded to a full criminal investigation in July 2012, following a request from the British Home Secretary. Operation Grange examined thousands of pieces of evidence, re-interviewed witnesses, and pursued leads across multiple countries. Over its first several years, it identified dozens of persons of interest across multiple nationalities. The operation has not been without controversy of its own. Critics questioned the cost, which ran into tens of millions of pounds of British public funding. Defenders argued that the case warranted the expense, given the international scope of the disappearance and the age of the victim at the time. By the mid-2010s, Operation Grange had quietly narrowed its focus. Investigators began to concentrate more specifically on the theory that Madeleine had been taken by a stranger who had watched the apartment and exploited the window of time when no adult was present. Then, in June 2020, came the development that shocked a public that had been following the case for 13 years. German authorities, coordinating with Operation Grange and Portuguese prosecutors, publicly named a man as a formal suspect. He is a German national serving a prison sentence in Germany at the time of the announcement, convicted of separate child sex offenses. German prosecutors stated in 2020 that they believe Madeleine McCann is dead and that the named suspect is responsible. Investigators theorized that he had been living in the Algarve region around the time of the disappearance and had a connection to the local area. Authorities appealed publicly for witnesses with information about his movements in and around Praia da Luz in 2007. Portuguese prosecutors formally named him a arguido, a suspect, in January 2023. As of the most recent publicly available information, no charges in connection with Madeleine's disappearance have been filed against him. The case against him, at least publicly, remains circumstantial and investigative. Over 17 years, the case has generated an enormous volume of theories, some pursued seriously by investigators, others circulating only in online forums. One hypothesis, the one Portuguese police initially pursued, is that Madeleine died accidentally inside the apartment and that her death was concealed. This theory was supported, investigators argued, by the cadaver dog evidence, though forensic experts have debated its reliability at length. The McCanns and their legal team have consistently and forcefully rejected this account. A second hypothesis, and the one that both Operation Grange and German prosecutors appear to favor, is that Madeleine was abducted by a stranger, someone familiar with the resort area who identified a vulnerable opportunity and acted on it. Investigators theorized that a lone male had been observed behaving suspiciously near the Ocean Club in the days leading up to the disappearance. A third set of theories involves organized trafficking networks. These circulate widely, but, to date, no credible evidence linking Madeleine's disappearance to any such network has been made public by any of the investigating agencies. The honest answer, the one that investigators themselves have had to live with, is that there is still no confirmed account of what happened inside or outside apartment 5A after Madeleine went to sleep on the night of 3rd May 2007. As of 2024, the investigation remains open across 3 jurisdictions: Portuguese police, the German prosecution, and Operation Grange in the United Kingdom. According to Wikipedia on Operation Grange, British authorities confirmed as recently as 2023 that the operation remains active. The named German suspect remains imprisoned on prior convictions. No trial date in connection with Madeleine's disappearance has been publicly announced. Portuguese prosecutors continue their work. The McCann family has never stopped searching. Kate and Jerry McCann have spoken publicly over the years about the impossibility of living without answers, without knowing what happened to their daughter. Madeleine McCann would be 21 years old today. So here is where the case stands. A 3-year-old girl disappeared from a holiday apartment in southern Portugal in May 2007. 17 years later, no one has been charged with her disappearance. A German suspect has been formally named in 2 countries, but no trial has taken place. The investigation spans 3 jurisdictions and has consumed tens of millions of pounds in public funds. And the most fundamental question, what happened to Madeleine McCann, remains officially unanswered. There are things about this case that have always unsettled investigators. The forensic evidence is disputed. The eyewitness accounts are inconsistent. The timeline has gaps. And a named suspect sits in a German prison for other crimes while authorities work to build a case. What do you think happened that night in Praia da Luz? Do you believe the abduction theory? Do you think the full truth has ever been made public? Leave your theory in the comments. This case deserves every set of eyes on it. If you're new here, subscribe to File Pending. We cover unsolved cases exactly like this one every week. No resolution, no easy answers. Just the facts, the evidence, and the questions that won't go away.